Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Jesse Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about tonight. But before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also, if you've not hit the subscribe button and you're new, go on and hit the subscribe button. Right now, we are at 657 subscribers, 657, trying to get to that main goal of 700. 43 away from the main goal, and right now, only, I believe, 18 away from that halfway kind of goal of 675. More of a 3/4 of the way goal of 675. So we're going to continue to move our way there. And also share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, even people that you don't even talk to, because that will be a real big help to the channel. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, first, as always, we will obviously talk about the weather. For tonight, what's currently going on. We'll talk about the weather for tomorrow, short-term future, long-term future. And we also will talk about our little rain/snow mix that's going to tomorrow. We'll talk about the black ice risk Sunday night going into Monday. Obviously, due to that precipitation occurring, that could cause some wet surfaces to refreeze. So we'll talk about that. And then also we'll talk about our very cold temperatures early next week, going from Sunday all the way through Tuesday. And then a chilly pattern persists as we go throughout midweek. So we're going to start off here with our current conditions. And right now, for the most part, it looks like that we are more just inside of an isolated shower mode right now. We have some rainfall going on over here near Gaston, near Pelion, Aiken, near Hodges, over towards Honia Pass as well. And so it looks like for the most part that, we may even have a little bit of a shower down here in the Tri-County area near Carolina Bay, over here near just to the west of North Charleston. And then as we continue our way out, though, because obviously we have stuff going on throughout the entire United States, we have some snowfall and rainfall going on. Rainfall going on all the way down throughout, obviously, the Carolinas, Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, eastern Texas. Some snowfall going on over here inside of Illinois, going on over here inside of Michigan, and even inside of New York, Maine, the Dakotas, all getting in on some snowfall. But look over here in the west. Nice and dry over here. Nice and dry over here inside the west. We look at our cloud cover for the future. Right now, it looks like that we are really just covered with clouds right now. I think that's where the majority of us are right now, covered with clouds. Rather that be up there inside the upstate, all the way down towards the coastal areas. Cloud cover is ongoing. We look at our cloud cover for the future. And as we go ahead and push this forward all the way towards like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, it just looks like that we are going to continue to receive cloudy conditions. Even as we go into tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning, at 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock p.m., even noon, cloud cover on its way out, actually. You go around 2 o'clock p.m., 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and you can see as you just continue to move your way east, cloud cover will move off. And look at tomorrow night. As we go into MLK Day, looks like cloud cover is now completely moved off, and it looks like it's going to be a clear MLK Day for our Monday. Current temperatures right now, we have around a good 52 in Somerville, 54 in Charleston, and 54 in Beaufort, 55 Hilton Head Island, and even around a good 53 in Orangeburg, 53 Georgetown. And we can even look even more as, we have lower 50s all the way over here inside the Petey areas, mid 50s over there near the coastal areas up there inside the Grand Strand area. Move over here into like the Midlands, temperatures down in the low 50s for a lot of us. Up here in the upstate, mid to high 40s is what we're seeing, like from 47 to York, Rock Hill, Spartanburg, Clemson, 46 in Greenville, 47 in Greenwood. And so for the most part, looks like the majority of us are all just inside of the mid 40s to mid 50s. For our low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 31 in Greenville, 32 in Spartanburg, and 34 in Rock Hill, 32 Lawrence and 33 in Newberry, 36 in Columbia, as well as 36 in Orangeburg, 35 in Walterboro, and 39 in Charleston, 37 Moncks Corner, and 38 in Georgetown, 40 Myrtle Beach, 36 in Kingstree, 38 Florence, 37 in Dillon, and 36 inside of Chirra. High temperatures for tomorrow. You have around a good 41 in Greenville, 41 Spartanburg, and you're around a good 40 in Rock Hill, 44 in Columbia, and 46 in Orangeburg, 45 in Barnwell, and 42 in Walterboro, 45 in Charleston, and 43 inside of Hilton Head Island, 45 inside of Myrtle Beach. You're around a good 43 over there near Aiken. And so it looks like for the most part that our high temperatures for tomorrow going to be relatively low. As we go into tomorrow. So we'll look for that. They actually did just make a new updated minimum temperature, so we can actually go and look at those. It's a bit different, actually, a good amount different, but there's the new low temperatures right there. If you want to go in and see them, they just updated it. So, 30s up there, mid 30s up there inside of the upstate, all the way to maybe some low 40s over there in the Midlands, even over there inside of the PD, the Grand Strand area, even some 30s inside the low country as well. And so, like I said, high temperatures for tomorrow, very chilly for tomorrow. So those temperatures really aren't going to move too much. As we go into our rainfall for the next 24 hours, you have 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch for a good amount of the upstate. Some areas in the upstate might not even see any rainfall, especially the areas that are more towards that South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia border. 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch for like Greenwood, Rock Hill. Quarter of an inch to a half an inch for pretty much all of the low country, all of the Grand Strand area, and then a good amount of the northern Midlands, then the Midlands, southern Midlands, PD area, half an inch to an inch. Crazy score for tonight. If you have no idea what the crazy score is, it is a score that we see how crazy the weather is throughout the entire state of South Carolina. Right now, we are at a 17. You're at a 17. Why are we at a 17, you may ask? Well, number one, it's going to just continue to increase in terms of clouds, light rain developing late after midnight. That's the primary noticeable event. Precipitation is pretty light for the most part, limited in coverage, but that definitely will add a small little damp factor, but does not qualify really as being moderate rain or anything that would put us inside the moderate category. Now, moderate rainfall, I guess technically would be possible, but like I said, the majority of it's going to be light rain. Light to calm winds as well. Temperatures are cool, but well above freezing statewide. No frost, no freeze, no dangerous wind chills, anything like that. So, nothing to, you don't have to bring your plants inside or make sure that, your pipes are good if they're not wrapped or anything like that. And so this is pretty much going to be a lot better of a night right here. SPC outlook for tonight, nothing's expected here. Tomorrow and for Monday, we're good in terms of thunderstorm activity. Excessive rainfall is not expected as we go into today. So we are good here in terms of excessive rainfall and flash flooding activity. So let's go on now and look at the models. Time is in the top right corner of your screen. Also, before we go and get started with the models, the drought monitor predictions are going inside the chat. We did not do the drought monitor predictions on Thursday, so we'll go on and do that. So get ready to go on and vote, as that prediction is about to go on inside the chat right now. So we start off here, and you can see for the most part that we, as of 9 o'clock, we have some isolated shower activity going on. That's obviously something that's not really too surprising, as we just saw. But if we go in and push this forward, you can see as we move all the way to around 12 o'clock in the morning, you start to see some rainfall popping up over there inside of the upstate. Pretty much a good amount of the upstate is covered with rainfall later tonight. Low country seeing, a little isolated shower going on down there. You start to see some more scattered to maybe like isolated numerous areas of showers. And like I said, some moderate rainfall is definitely possible, but for the majority of us, looks like to be some light rainfall. as we continue all the way through 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, all the way going on to 7 o'clock in the morning, a lot of us are now covered with rainfall here at 7 a.m. as we have rainfall going in from the upstate towards the Midlands, towards the Low Country and the Petey, the Grand Strand areas that will grow in coverage even more to 8 to 9 o'clock, and we're even seeing some flurries up there inside of the upstate as well. So a little bit of a rain slash a snow mix going on over there inside of the upstate. Now, if we go and look at those temperatures, it's not low enough technically to be technically to stick to the ground, so that's why there's not really going to be any accumulation with it. We'll look at it, but it's not going to be a whole lot. Not going to be a lot. We continue our way through though, all the way back to 10 o'clock in the morning, and just look at that line of shower activity that we have going on all the way from the Low Country over into the Petey area, into the Grand Strand area. And we just still have that rain snow mix going on up there inside the upstate. That moves its way through, and even a little bit of a rain snow mix down inside the Low Country. Not Low Country, it's the wrong area. Midland area, not Low Country. But continue our wave to 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and then it moves out by around 4 o'clock p.m., and we're done with rainfall pretty much by around 5 to 6 o'clock, and we dry out, we clear out, but it will still be wet outside. So pretty much that's the whole day pretty much for tomorrow. I will say that the area definitely that could get that rain snow mix definitely is going to be either the both the Midlands and the upstate areas, but everybody else from the Low Country over inside of the Grand Strand areas, not looking like much in terms of rain, in terms of snowfall. But you continue this forward all the way through, and we can stay dry all the way throughout 7 p.m. on the 19th. So what about our totals? I do want to go and look at that. Total snowfall shows actually a good amount of snowfall, but how much is actually going to be on the ground? Not a lot. Not a lot. So yeah, you're going to have some snow that definitely falls. In fact, some accumulation for sure. But like I said, if we go and look at the depth to it, not a lot. So that rainfall is really going to impact with it, and also those warm temperatures as well are going to impact it severely. I can even go on real quick and look at the actual South Carolina state forecast for for snowfall as we go throughout the next 3 days. So this goes all the way from 7 a.m. on Sunday to 7 a.m. on Wednesday. And you can see right here that, has around a good 1/10 of an inch of snowfall from Spartanburg, Greenville, Anderson, Lawrence, Greenwood, Newberry. All of these areas can see flurries, 2/10 of an inch over there near Aiken. Trying to get a little bit inside like that very northern and western Low Country over there near Barnwell, but like I said, it's not going to accumulate, and you're not going to be able to really do anything with it except for just see like a little glaze on the ground. And so that's all that I have to say there for the short-term future. Let's go on and talk about the long-term future. We're going to start off here at the 54 hour mark. That's where we just ended off at, pretty much. And so as we go on and just started, you can see for the most part, nice and dry conditions. And as we go on and push this forward even more, you can see that we stay dry all the way throughout until around maybe the 22nd. Going throughout the 23rd, high pressure takes over. We're nice and dry until we get to around the 24th. I'm starting to see some rainfall, maybe a little system trying to move its way through, possibly another little cold front trying to move its way through potentially. I'm going through around the 25th-ish or so. And then we see some more rainfall, potentially even some snowfall. Now, this is more than a week out, so, we can't really say anything with this. But what we can say is that it's here, and if it's possible, if it looks possible, definitely is possible. And so I know most people were looking around the 25th time frame for this time frame for some weather, winter weather. But if we go over here into the 28th and the 29th, this would be right here, a perfect system right here if you wanted snowfall. You have the low pressure right there riding down the coast, all the way from Florida into the Atlantic. And if it was a little bit further down, all that snowfall would be definitely a lot more into the state instead of just freezing rain over there from like the low country and the coastal areas. But like I said, 280 hours out, way too far out. That will change. Past that, though, relatively dry all the way into the start of February. We can even go and look at the dew points as well, see what's going on in terms of our cold fronts. We go ahead and push this forward. Cold front, moving in throughout like the 19th-ish or so. Again, then as we go even further, potentially another cold front again going to around like the 22nd, the 23rd. Another cold front again on the 25th, and that one could potentially bring us some drier conditions. And with all these cold fronts, that we definitely have the possibility of some fire weather. With these dry conditions going on and with not a lot of rainfall, and we're about to go on and get into the drought monitor in just a second. But I will say that we will go on and just continue to look for these fire weather conditions. But I do not believe right now that we have any sort of fire weather alerts or anything like that for right now. Even though I know there's people that were talking about it, but if I go down and look, nothing for the state of South Carolina as we go throughout the next 8 days or so. Even if I go and look at the actual SPC website, because I know sometimes that one can glitch out a little bit. No area for any sort of like fire concern. And so that's pretty much all I have to say there in terms for that. I do want to talk about one more thing before we go on and talk with the audience, and that is our temperatures as we go into early next week. If we go on and look at that real quick, you can see these temperatures, they will drop. They will drop significantly, just how they were a couple of days ago. We're going to go into like tomorrow night, for example. We go into the 18th, we go into the 19th. We have temperatures down back into the 20s, back into like the low 30s again as we go into Sunday night. Then we go into Monday night. Temperatures back down in the 20s and 30s again. And then you think we're done? Absolutely not. Tuesday night. Temperatures back down in the 20s and 30s. Probably the coldest night right there will be on Tuesday night going into Wednesday morning. So we definitely have a lot to look for here. Definitely have a lot to look for as we go into next week. As those temperatures will start off cold. Now after that, we'll be back up a little bit until maybe around like the 23rd-ish going into, I believe that's Thursday night right there. Start to see some more freezing temperatures again. Not quite making it to like the coastal area, low country, southern Midland areas, but it's there. And we'll see some more freezing temperatures again going to like the 26th, the 27th, the 28th. And so it's going to be a lot more talk about freezing temperatures. But that's all that I pretty much have to say in terms for our long-term future. So we're gonna go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Before we go in and get into that, though, I do want to say we're about to do the drought predictions. I'm about to go inside the chat right now. Drought predictions, either option number 1, the drought has expanded because we had a drought the last time. Option number 2, the drought has shrunk / stayed the same. I probably should say shrunk / stayed. And then if we go over into option number 3, that means that the drought and I'm going to say AD for abnormally dry. I should honestly say the drought is gone. Abnormally dry remains. And then as we go into the last one, the drought and abnormally dry gone. And so that's what we have right now inside the chat. Go ahead and vote inside of that, and then we'll get into that after we do this with the audience. So we're gonna start off right now with, I believe, Mr. Chris was here first tonight. That's not what I wanted. There we go. So yeah, Mr. Chris was here first tonight. He does in fact say good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. I am. Thank you so much for that. He also says currently it's 52 degrees here in Moncks Corner. Right now at my house it's around 50, according to my older weather station. My newer one says 51, so it's dropping. And it actually is cooler over than where you are. He also says, please remember to go hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. We've had a huge amount of support the past couple of days. Thank you so much for that. But we can continue going and let's keep the momentum going. Right now, again, 657 subscribers. 43 away from that main goal. Let's get there. And also, we have around a good 11 people that have tuned in. 28 people now that have tuned in. And we have only 7 likes. If you are part of that 21 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free and you can change your mind at any time. Maya Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Nana says, hello, all. A nice day after all. Well, that's great to hear from you. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Maya Lewis says, I pray that everyone had a wonderful day. I know we did. That's glad to hear that from you. Thank you so much for that. She also says in Georgetown today it was gorgeous. In Georgetown it was in the mid-60s as well. So thank you so much for that weather update over there in Georgetown. Mr. Chris says, same here. Moncks Corner was about 62 last time that I checked for your high temperature. Thad says, good evening, Joseph. I trust all as well. It was pretty cold here today. The wind was cutting through my hoodie. Same thing like it was for me on was it? I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday. That wind was cutting through that hoodie that I had too. It was kind of pathetic, but I ended up surviving, so it was all good at the end. He also says tonight is supposed to get down to the 20s and 30s. Really not looking forward to that. Yes, it is. We'll talk about that. And then he also says, I think I'm going to put my potted plants in the garage and cover up my ground plants to prevent a frost kill. That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. 30 degrees for your low tonight over there. In Texas, definitely. You want to get those stuff covered up. Okay, and as we continue our way down, Maya Lewis says, I really hope that we could have great weather like we had today year round. That would be nice. That would be nice for us, but unfortunately, that can't happen. And then, seemed like some volume issue, but seems like that it was good, figured out. And then he also says it's 45 degrees right now where you are. Well, thank you so much for that. And that's about all. So, let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. That being San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North... Oh, wait a minute. We'll do the drought in just a second. I do apologize for that. I keep on delaying it. I do apologize for that. We're going to do the drought monitor in just a second. I promise. We're not going to forget. I'm not going to forget about it. Not going to forget about it. If you're here for the drought, and if you're here for South Carolina, just stay for just like another couple of minutes or so. I'll be to it in just a second. But I do want to go and talk about these 4 areas. San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. Because they tune in almost nightly and it's not even their main area, we're going to go on and talk about them. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first, which has low temperatures tonight at 30. High temperatures tomorrow at around 60, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 34. Precipitation, not expected at this time. So it looks like for the most part that you are going to be nice and dry. But what about for your severe weather? What about for your excessive rainfall? Well, in terms of severe weather, looks like that you got a little bit of a fire risk today, but that's pretty much gone, now. So I wouldn't really pay attention to that too much longer. No excessive rainfall for you either, so it looks like you're good there. Now, what about for your long-term future? Well, for right now, it looks like that you will, you'll warm up just a little tiny bit. Just a little tiny bit, nothing too crazy. As we go throughout next couple of days, like MLK Day 65. Tuesday, you'll drop back down to 68, but on, for example, Friday, you'll be up to around like the high 60s. Saturday, you'll be back to the mid 70s again. So you definitely will warm back up, and those low temperatures will be back up into the 50s as well as early as Tuesday night. Then what about for Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight around 40, high temperatures tomorrow at around 41, and then low temperatures tomorrow night around 23. Rain is expected tonight. Rain and snow is expected tomorrow, but tomorrow night, no rainfall is expected, no snowfall is expected. So rain is expected tonight. You'll have a mix of snow and rainfall tomorrow, but it will switch to all snow as you go into tomorrow. What about for your severe weather and your excessive rainfall? Looks like you have none right now. None right now. But what about for your long-term future? Right now, it looks like that you will cool down. Like, for example, high temperature on Tuesday is 39. 46, you'll warm back up a little bit. 46 on Wednesday. 51 on Thursday. 48 on Friday. 53 on Saturday. So you will warm back up, but for right now, it looks like you're going to kind of just be in this 40-ish, 30-ish range until around like midweek. Then for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight around 31, high temperatures tomorrow around 34, and then low temperatures tomorrow night around 21. Chance of rainfall tonight. Rain and snow is likely tomorrow, and chance of snowfall tomorrow night. So all of that is definitely possible as you go into tomorrow. Severe weather and excessive rainfall is not expected for you either. And then as we go into your long-term future, I'm just going to continue to get cold. Just going to continue to get cold, as you will have the low temperatures down near 13 and 12 degrees Monday night going into Tuesday. Yes, which means your high temperature or I should say your low temperature for Sunday night being 21, or honestly, I should say your low temperature for tonight is going to be warmer. Yes, it's going to be warmer than your high temperature on Tuesday. It's going to be higher than both of the low temperature nights from Monday night going into Tuesday night. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 17, high temperatures tomorrow around 58, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 27. Precipitation not expected at this time. In terms for your future, you will warm back up. It will take a little bit, but you will definitely warm back up back into like the 60s, mid 50s-ish or so. Which obviously you already are inside the mid-50s, but you'll kind of peak like Wednesday, 60 degrees-ish, so not really going to be too much of a warm-up, but a 2-degree warm-up is a 2-degree warm-up. That, and then also, don't burn anything tomorrow if you don't have to, as you are under an elevated fire weather condition risk. So, if you don't have to burn anything, or you don't have to do anything fire-related, just don't do so outside. And that's all that I have for these 4 areas. So let's go on and talk about the drought monitor. So, pretty much, if I go back on real quick, I look at the observed precipitation as we go throughout the past 7 days or so. And if I go on and go to the regional all the way over here. And so as we go on and look at this, you can see for the most part, not much rainfall. I mean, we have had some rainfall up here inside of the very far upstate. So that definitely took down the drought up there, most likely. We had some rainfall down here, but I think we still had a good amount of rainfall going on inside of like the low country where that drought is, but it's not a whole lot. And so with these temperatures also being cold as well, freezing for a lot of times, this is kind of a hard one for me to predict. Right now, if I go and look at the results, it's tied between the drought has expanded, the drought has shrunk, so that stayed the same, and some very optimistic person said that the drought and the abnormally dry is gone. I have no idea what the result is. We're about to go in and check it out right now. But for right now, I mean, I'm going to be a part of the group who said the drought has shrunk / stayed the same. I think that more it stayed the same more than anything, especially due to all that rainfall up there inside the upstate. I think that might, even if it did expand a little bit down there inside of the southern areas, I think that it took a lot off from the one up there inside of the upstate. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But for right now, that's just my prediction. So let me go and get the drum roll real quick. And then we will go on and reveal it. As we wait for my drum roll thing to load, because apparently it doesn't want to today, but there we go. Oh God. Okay. That is no. That prediction was insanely off. That was very off. In fact, I think everybody is inside of a drought now. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting that. I'm honestly very shocked. I'm very, very shocked by this. Let me be honest. Yeah, everybody's inside of a drought now. So if you are inside the state of South Carolina, you are in a drought right now, which is not fantastic. Definitely not fantastic at all. So let me go in and read these out real quick. Let me go and read these out. If you're inside of the D2, that's a lot of the upstate: Greenville, Spartanburg, Cherokee, York, Chester, Lancaster, Fairfield, Newbury, Lawrence, Anderson, going over here in Abbeville, McCormick, Northern Edgefield as well. All of these areas right now are inside of a D2 drought right now. And even if you're down over there inside of the Western Low Country, from Bamberg over to Barnwell, Allendale, Hampton, Colleton County, Beaufort, Jasper, all inside of a D2 right now in terms of a severe drought. But if we go in and look at the D1 moderate drought, from Horry County all the way to Georgetown County, over into Williamsburg, Berkeley, Dorchester, Charleston, Clarendon, Sumter, just pretty much everybody else, I should honestly say, is inside of a drought right now. So I will say that I honestly was not expecting this. This is a lot bigger than I thought. In fact, it looks like nobody shrunk. Didn't even matter that there was any rainfall. It looks like nobody shrunk at all. So, like I said, that's another reason why I don't really trust too much in the temperatures too much, because temperatures change a lot. Obviously, it could be warm one part of the week, cold one part of the week, and so I think that I need to stop thinking about that so much. But another thing that definitely also prohibited this in terms of a more accurate prediction is just also because this is on Saturday. This was last updated on Thursday, and some of the rainfall that we got on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday do not equate to this monitor right here. So I think that's probably another thing as well that I did not really take into account. But for next week, we'll make sure we're there on Thursday for. So congrats to the 43% of people that got it correct, because honestly, y'all got that just square on. So yeah, completely square on from y'all. And that's all that I have here in terms for the forecast for tonight. So what do we have in terms of the entire U.S.? Another clipper will drop into the northern plains and the upper Midwest into Sunday, with snow and gusty winds contributing to some areas of blizzard conditions and snow squalls. Impactful snowfall will occur up and down the East Coast Sunday, extending from the western Florida Panhandle to Maine. And yes, you did hear that correctly. Impactful snowfall will occur up and down the East Coast, extending from the western Florida Panhandle all the way up to Maine, which means, yet again, Florida is probably going to receive snowfall probably faster than a lot of us have. Now, I know some areas probably receive some snowfall, like maybe like up there in the mountains, or maybe some snow flurries in spots here and there. But for the majority of us, Florida's going to get snowfall before we get snowfall, so that's pretty interesting there. In Georgia as well, Georgia's also going to get a good amount of snowfall as well for where they are. 2 to 4 inches of snow definitely is possible for some areas down there, mainly in southern Georgia though. And so it seems like for the most part, that's about it. Snowfall also up there inside of the Northeast. We're also going to see a deep freeze going on down there inside of southern Texas. Freeze watches ongoing over there inside of Florida and Georgia. And then I believe we did get an email. So let me go ahead and pull that up, because I believe we did get an email. I got it on my phone. Let me see if I can go in and find it. Over here on the SC Weather 360 email. Thad sent me one very, very early this morning, or honestly late last night. If we go in and check it out, he says it's going to be a cold one. This was a freeze warning, remains in effect from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Sunday. Sub-freezing temperature as low as 26 degrees. 26 to 32 degrees are expected. And so a lot of those counties where he is where this freeze warning is. And so, yeah, like I said, low temperatures over there in San Antonio will be near 30, so it will continue to get colder and cooler as the night progresses going into tomorrow. But that's all that I can see here. So, make sure if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Also, we hit the subscribe button. We're at 657 trying to get to 700. We are right now 43 away from that main goal of 700. And we are also 18 away from that 3/4 of the way goal of 675. So let's go on and get there. I will be back tomorrow morning for your Sunday morning forecast update. Tomorrow evening, we will do your week forecast update for the week of January the 18th going into January the 24th. Not the last week, not the last week, but the second to last week of the month. But I will be back tomorrow morning. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday night. And I will be back tomorrow. Top fans will be going up inside of the chat. So if you want to see who won the top fans, go on and stay for that.